The world may have seriously underestimated China's ability to plan strategically. 10 years ago, China made a bold move, a plan that today is paying off across multiple fields like tech, manufacturing, and industrial development. Let's rewind to 2015. Back then, China's manufacturing industry was big but not strong. We relied on foreign brands for high-end machine tools. In consumer electronics, Apple and Samsung took the big profits. We got the leftovers. In the auto industry, our strategy of market for technology became a joke, and many core components still depended on imports. What made it even more urgent was that the old industrial powers were gearing up for their next big upgrade. Germany launched its Industry 4.0 strategy, Japan rolled out its manufacturing white paper, and the US began pushing for reshoring its industries. Meanwhile, China was still doing the hardest work for the least pay. It was in this moment of internal pressure and external threats that the Made in China 2025 plan was born. The goal? To spend 10 years focusing on key sectors like information technology, robotics, aerospace, and new energy vehicles. But we had no global advantage, no foreign tech support, just our own brainpower and determination. To the average person, the last 10 years may have felt uneventful. But in reality, China went through immense challenges. From Huawei being blacklisted in 2019 to a full-blown assault on our chip industry in 2020, and then a joint US-Japan blockade on semiconductor equipment in 2023. Almost every cutting-edge industry faced intense pressure from the West. But China never backed down. Through 10 years of relentless pushback, we've now become the source of 70% of the world's smartphones, 80% of its air conditioners, and 90% of its laptops. From commercializing domestic lithography machines to exporting Chinese-made chips, from overtaking South Korea in shipbuilding to surpassing Japan, Germany, and the US in auto exports, China has broken through the blockade ahead of schedule. Now let's take the health industry as an example. In recent years, the global health market has been booming, and especially in China. With rising health awareness, the domestic wellness market is exploding. In 2023, China's health industry surpassed 10 trillion yuan in market size, and demand for supplements, functional foods, fitness, and wellness services continues to grow. At the same time, traditional Chinese wellness culture is gaining new attention. At its core, it's about balance, keeping your body in tune with nature's rhythm. These ideas have been passed down for thousands of years, and now they're gaining global recognition. Ingredients like ginseng, goji berries, and reishi mushrooms are not only popular in China, but are also entering the international market. In Europe and the US, more and more people are turning to TCM-inspired products for natural and effective health solutions. With the rapid growth of the health industry, the blend of traditional Chinese wellness and modern health needs is offering the world better, more natural solutions. It's not just meeting domestic demands, it's letting the world benefit from Chinese wisdom. And if you're looking to ride this wave of growth in the global health industry, let's talk. Together, we can bring high-quality Chinese products to every corner of the world.
Why did China, without fighting a war, managing in just over 70 years to transform from a poor agricultural country into the world's second largest economy? A journey that took developed nations centuries. Behind this, there's a unique operation system of China, which is known as the 5-year plan. Right now, China is preparing to release its 15th 5-year plan later this October. But what exactly is a 5-year plan, and why does it matter for the global economy? The idea of a national plan first appeared in the Soviet Union in the 1930s, when leaders explored how to run a socialist economy under a clear timetable. China adopted the model in 1953 with its very first 5-year plan. Since then, China has rolled out 14 of those national blueprints, each one shaping the country's economic and social trajectory. A 5-year plan is not just a paper. Think of it as a living playbook, turning big national goals into measurable steps, 5 years at a time. From Beijing to local towns, from heavy industries to everyday life, these plans set the direction for China's development. Each stage of the 5-year plan has had a different focus. The first plan laid the foundation of industrialization. The third plan emphasized national security and preparedness. The sixth plan shifted towards improving people's livelihood. And 14th plan highlighted high-quality development and green growth. Now, with the 15th 5-year plan about to be announced, the world is watching closely because China's choices, where it places bets for the next 5 years, will not only decide its own future, but also influence the global economy, shaping opportunities for everyone. I'm Kelly Tang, bringing you a new perspective. Talk to you later.
China is finally admitting it's not a developing country in terms of trade. And here's why it matters. So China just dropped a bombshell at the United Nations. Its Premier Li Qiang says the country will no longer claim developing countries' advantages in future WTO trade talks. But why now? China says this is to push for fairer global trade rules. At a time when tariff battles and import restrictions are heating up, the WTO chief welcomed this move, saying it clears a major roadblock and opens doors for reform. And even America calls it a positive but long overdue step. But it's also very important to remember that this only applies to future talks, so those existing commitments stay the same. And China says it is still a part of the developing world. And it's also very important to note that this is only a volunteer move. And no, it is not telling other countries to do the same. So that's it. Do you think this is a game changer for global trade? Tell me in the comments.
This is what we call looking back with a smile. China wasn't here. And I was glad to learn that China was once taken advantage of. China was standing at the side of history where so many African countries are presently, and fortunately mine as well. Oh my goodness. So I am so glad to learn this and getting to see how they were able to plan strategically, and things changed. It's where really I'm so hopeful that things can still get better. Yeah, China has done a huge step, and what China wants is for people to simply recognize where China is at rather than ignoring. And yeah, I'm glad you watched this extent. It has been an informational compilation. I hope you understand that this nation is a developed nation. And when we say a developed nation, it doesn't mean that everything is okay. But from the strategic plan, from where they started to where they are right now, you can simply tell that there has been a shift. And it's that shift that we are communicating to you. I don't know what you had once believed about China, but this is China. This is China.
Being in China has taught me this so far. I will tell you guys for free. Here's the deal. If you repeat something again and again and again and again, people would actually start to believe it, even when it's not true at all. It doesn't have to be true. You just have to repeat it. Okay? Let me give you an example. The West, especially America, like to paint this idea of China that it's the third world country actually in their books, and that it's a bad place. There is no democracy, therefore, America is the greatest or the more. Even Americans believe that America is better than China. Now, to anybody who has been here, you cannot convince them that the US is better than China at anything for the average day-to-day person. What I mean is, the streets here are much safer, the accommodation is greater, life is cheaper for the average Chinese, the food quality is amazing, and people have a full life. They have families, they have time to spend with their families, and there is a cohesive society that actually functions. A lot of people are educated in things that matter. Science, maths, not just like the social sciences or the humanities like what people have in the West. So actually in China, people are educated in a more functional sense that they can contribute to the economy. So all these lies that you hear in the West about how great the Western countries are, you could actually believe it because it's just being taught to you many times. But the reality on the ground, bro, it's just a lot different. The Western countries, including America, cannot hold a candle to China. I can tell you that. Like, they don't even come close. This country is so advanced, bro. So advanced in all directions. From healthcare, education, and so on. And that is why when the Chinese citizens move out of here and go to America, they thrive so much, because you just can't, like, the Western populations cannot just compete against them. The education is so superior, the discipline that they have, and they're basically living in 2055 already right now. It's crazy to see. Amazing. I love it here. And I feel safer here than I felt in the US, in the UK, and even in wider Europe. So, shout out to China, man.